Welcome to Group Study by One, reading the New Testament in original Greek. We're reading today Matthew chapter 1, verse 23. Verse 23. Ιδού η παρθένος εν γαστρή έξις, και τέξετε ουιόν, και καλέσουσιν το όνομα αυτού Εμμανουήλ, ο έστιν μεθερμηνευόμενον μεθ ημών ο Θεός. We have the famous compound quotations from Isaiah 7:14. Ιδού, behold, or look, η παρθένος, the virgin, εν γαστρή έξις. We talk about this idiomatic expressions, εν γαστρή έχω. In the previous verse that we had with participle, exousa, but we have now indicative future from echo. So the virgin will be pregnant. The virgin will conceive, or the virgin will have a baby. Get dexete. And dexete is from the verb dicto. We talked about it in verse 21 in the previous session. Dicto, to give birth or to bring forth. And she will bring forth uion, a son. Και καλέσουσιν, from the verb kaleo. We also have seen it, this one. From the verb kaleo, and with the sigma makes it a future tense, and usin as indicative third person plural. So they will call το όνομα αυτού, his name, Emmanuel, as Emmanuel. O estin, so o as a relative pronoun and a neutral. So do we have any neutral nouns in the previous sentence? Emmanuel, it's a masculine. Αυτού, yes, maybe, because αυτού as a genitive forms and a masculine and a neutral makes it in the same form. But if you translate it as neutral, it doesn't make sense. And of course, it refers to Jesus. So that's why his name. Or if you translate it as a neutral, its name. And what does it refers to? Doesn't make sense. So since it's talking about Jesus, makes it αυτού, most obviously, the masculine genitive. Το όνομα. Now we have the clearly neutral definite article, το, and onoma as a neutral word. Neutral noun. So we now know the relative pronoun o refers to το όνομα. The name, estin, is an emi verb, and erasmus an emi verb, is. So the name is methερμηνευόμενον. It's from the verb methερμηνεύω, means to translate. But from the methερμηνεύω plus omenos, omeni, omenon, and a masculine, feminine, and neutral makes it a participle passive participle. So, which means this word is to be translated as in a passive form. It is translated, being translated. So, estin, it's not going along with methερμηνευόμενον. So, estin, you have to separate it with other words in a sentence. The name being translated. Meth ημών ο Θεός. Meth as a preposition, with us, the God. Now we can use estin. God is with us. The name which is translated, God is with us. Verse 24. Εγκερθείς δε ο Ιωσήφ από το ύπνο, επίσεν ως προσέταξεν αυτό ο άγγελος Κυρίου, και παρέλαβεν την γυναίκα αυτού. Εγκερθείς is from the verb egiro. It means in ancient Greek to wake someone up. But in a New Testament Greek, it means to wake up. We'll see briefly again this verb. Egerethes is a participle form, so we've seen it already when we talked and we discussed about it. Thes, thesa, then makes it a participle. With the theta, of course, then it's a passive form. Egero changes in the future. Egereo, when there is no sigma, means you have to memorize it separately. Egereo, future, igira, and an aorist. With the eta in Erasmus eta in the front, it comes to the contractions we talked about. The verb egiro with the epsilon and aorist indicative requires also augmentation of epsilon. Epsilon makes it to eta in Erasmus eta. So that's what we have in an aorist and an igira. We don't have, technically, we do have, but it's very uncommon that you will see the perfect form of this word. The perfect is actually egregora, but you can regard it as not exist. Aorist of passive forms igerthin with the theta in thin in sorry, with augmentation and contractions, igerthin, aorist passive. Now, from the egero, now we have egerthes. What is it? Is it present? Is it future? Is it aorist? Now, when of course, if you know thes is an aorist passive ending, then you can recognize immediately this is an aorist passive. But aorist, let's take a look at an aorist passive in original form. Igerthin. We have eta in the front. But in verse 24, we have epsilon, egerethes. And how does it work in this way? In an aorist indicative, we have the augmentation, but in a participle, we don't. It doesn't require, it doesn't have the augmentation epsilon. Then it excludes the contractions. So there is no contractions, and preserve the original forms of eger. So then we know this egerthes is clearly aorist passive participle from thes, thesa, then, the participle ending. Egerthes. Then he after he woke up. And who is he? O Yosef, Joseph. Apo to ipnu. Ipnu is from ipnos, sleep, from the sleep. Epiesen means pieo. It means to do or doing something or to make. It has a various meaning if you look up dictionary, but the common basic translations, the meaning you can start with is to do. So he did os as prosetaxen. It's a compound word. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was going to talk about a little bit of egiro. In ancient Greek, it means to wake someone up. A summon, then of course it requires an accusative object. So in New Testament Greek, to wake up, and the word meaning changes slightly to stand up as well. Prosetaxe is a compound word from pros plus tasso. Double sigma, it's the change that's made in New Testament Greek, in Koine Greek. In ancient Greek, in Attic dialect especially, the word occurs with a double taf, so prostato. It changes in the future taxo, aorist etaxa. Tetaha with duplication, perfect. Tetagme means medium passive and a perfect. Etachtin or etagin is an aorist passive. Etachtin and etagin, this word taking the both paradigms means it's taking the form changes, inflections of verbs in strong verb cases and a weak verb cases. So regular, irregular is taking both. Means there are more to memorize. So prostaso. This one, a tasso with accusative, as we talk about it, a tasso plus accusative means it has a two various meaning. Well, it has other meanings as well, but comes down to two different meanings. If you see in a Greek sentence with a tasso or prostasso with accusative, and it's not necessarily accompanied, but it's optional. But sometimes it contains the prepositions, which means it translates as to place the accusative object or summon something to somewhere, to place something to somewhere. But when it comes with dative and accusative, means to command someone something. I command you doing this. I command you to sleep, right? So the dative is the most often as the person who the commands is coming upon, and accusative. Of course, then accusative could be combined with other forms of grammars, like for example, ACI, accusative cum accusativus cum infinitivo. We talked about it in a previous session. But anyway, to command something, that's the case that we have here. After, the dative, to him. What does the he aftos refer to? Of course, then it's a Yosef. And who is the person who gives a command? O angelos Kyriou. The angel of Lord commands him. And we don't have the accusative. Que parelaven. And parelaven, we have seen this word already. Para plus lambano. Lambano, of course, changes in the future. Limsome, we have seen it. I hope you have already memorized this. And an aorist, elavon, elifa, elime, eliftin, or elimftin with me in the middle. So I have underlined it that refer that associates our case here. But elaven, elaven, elavon. So you see the same. Then that means that this is the aorist. So parelaven. Of course, when it comes to the prepositions and a main verb and a compound verb, then the prepositions is the weaker than the main verb. So most often, no, almost all cases, the vowel from the prepositions at the end falls off. When it comes with the main verbs, starts with the vowels. So parelaven, aorist, the aorist indicative, and a third person singular with the n. Tingineka aftu. So I'm sorry. So what does it? So what does it mean? Parelaven. Lambano. It means to take, but with preposition para means take in. I don't know. I talked about it, but I might have forgotten to mention this in a previous verse 20, the third parts, verse 20c. There it talks about the angel talks directly to Joseph. Me for with these, do not worry. So these, is a subjunctive to second person singular, talking to Joseph. paralavein, to take in. Who? Maria. So do not be afraid to take Maria in. Now we have a double accusative. So tin ginekasu, as your wife. Right? It makes sense in a double accusative with as. So we have also here an ake parelaven with accusative tin gineka avtu. So Joseph did as the angel of Lord commanded him and took in his wife. Different from the verse 20, we don't have a double accusative. So there is no as his wife. Okay, this is today's session. I hope you have enjoyed it. And I must mention, of course, for the copyright, the Greek Bible text is from the Novum Testamentum Graece, 28th editions of Nestle and Ellen. And if you don't have one, you can read the text online as well. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll look forward to the next session. Thank you for listening.